Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Today we are going to talk about the JIRA connector and what it does. As you know, JIRA is a very common project management software being used by multiple teams all across the world to manage their day-to-day work. You can create issues, comments, etc. in JIRA to help manage your work effectively. Application integration has an out-of-the-box JIRA connector, which means that it is very simple to connect to JIRA and create various things like issues, comments, and so on there. And today we are going to show you how to do that. So let's get started with creating a JIRA connector. So I'm in the integration connectors page, and here I'm going to create a connection to JIRA. So I'm going to search for JIRA. First of all, I have to select my region, which is Europe West 4. And then I'm going to create a JIRA connector here. I'm going to name it something logical, such as JIRA connection. And I'm going to leave all of these settings like they are and click next. The host address is an important one. This is the name of the URL of your JIRA instance. So I'm going to copy and paste it from my JIRA instance. And now we come to authentication. So here you can either use a username and password, or you can use the OAuth 2 method of validating your credentials. I'm going to use my username and password here. So I'm just going to copy over my username and the API key, which I got from JIRA. And for that, you have to create a secret. So I'm going to create a secret here, which I'm going to name JIRA API key. And I'm going to copy and paste my secret value here. And now we are going to click next after we grant the permission to this particular service account. So I'm going to click next and then click create. If this is the first time that you're creating a connection in this particular region, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes before the connection can be created. So please keep that in mind. As you can see, the connection is now being created. And after waiting for a few minutes, the connection has now been created. So now that the connector is created, let's create an integration which will be using the connector and will be creating an issue in JIRA. So let me create an integration called create JIRA issue. Let's first configure the connector. So dragging and dropping the connector task and then choosing the connection that I created previously. Now, as you can see, we have a couple of entities that we can change in JIRA using this connector. So for example, boards, issues, epics, fields, groups, and so on. What we want to do here is we want to create an issue. So I'm going to choose issue, and then I'm going to choose create in the operations list here. So now the connector is configured. Let's drag and drop an API trigger, because that is how we want to invoke this integration. And we also need to do some data mapping to successfully create the task. So let's drag and drop a data mapper task here, and let's join all of these together. So let's hard code some values for the issue that we want to be created in JIRA. First thing we need for the issue is the content, that is the text that we want in the issue. So that is sent in the summary variable. The next thing we need is the name of the project, the JIRA project in which our board exists. And for that, we have something called project key that we have to send along with the connector. And the third thing we want is the issue type. So JIRA has two issue types. One is task, and that is what we want to create. So I'm just going to search for issue type name here, which is the value which we have to provide. So let me just hard code a couple of values here. So here, let me just hard code it with a string that says issue created with application integration. In the project key, let me hard code the value of my project, the name of my project, which is KAM. And in the issue type name, let me hard code task because that is the type of issue that we want to create. So going back, we can now publish this integration, and that concludes the development of our flow. Now it's time to test. So let me just click this test button here and test the flow that we just created. As you can see, it is now successfully executed. Let's look at the logs. Expanding the logs, I can see that the data mapping task was successful and the connector task was also successful. I can see that this is the input payload that was sent to JIRA, and this is the output, which is the ID of the task that was created. So let's go over to the Agile board that we have in JIRA as well and click refresh. And here, as you can see, we have created the task with the input that we sent from the flow. So this is how you can create an issue in JIRA from the JIRA connector.